There you go.
Hi, welcome to our Thursday night book club. We're doing the book Magic of Thinking Big, chapters 4 and 5. I'm Melissa Allen. I'm a senior gold, my first time saying that. And I'm doing it with Eilers-Heffner, who is a new Sapphire. So I'm super excited. So chapter 4 was how to think big. And so some of my favorite takeaways, the first one on page 78, they talk about do not think in words or phrases, we think in pictures or images. And so our mind automatically converts what we think from words to pictures. So how we talk about, the power of storytelling and how important it is to really paint a picture and build belief really spoke to me in phrasing things to the positive, that not talking about all the challenges we have and the issues that we have a problem because it sets that negative mindset up, but instead talking about things in the positive, that we have a challenge and getting people excited to face it and do better, and using those big, powerful, cheery words, not talking about how awful detox can be as you get people started and they're trying to get their bodies adjusted to the products, but instead talking about how wonderful it is because that means the products are working and how it's changing their body and helping them heal and going to get all these great results. So we do the same thing in the hospital, that they tell us not to talk about how dark it is or how much pain you're having, but instead talk about oh, we're going to go out into the light and try to have some quiet, and kind of where your thinking goes is where your mind is going to go. So just focusing on those big positive words instead. I really liked in the chapter too how they talked about on page 84 how much is a customer worth and the importance of focusing on customer service and seeing the big picture. That they talk about how someone kind of dismissed a customer that was in the store, because they were only going to buy something for $1.98 and didn't think it was a big deal. But when they looked and did the averages and they spent over $300 a year at their business, that just that long-term big thinking and giving the overall picture. Oh, can everyone hear me okay better now? I'm going to try scooting closer.
Hi guys, sorry.
But trying to do the overall bigger picture for everything and focusing on customer service no matter what you do, and just always being encouraging and loving on your people and loving on the people in your life makes a big difference. Another big takeaway I have from the chapter is to practice adding value to people and things and yourself. And I love how just in Plexus, it is a personal growth plan with compensation, that you're encouraged to continually grow yourself and do better and learn the things so you can be a better person, and then teach everyone around you how to inspire others and grow themselves and do the things that they need to do to reach their goals, whether they're health related or relationship related or business related. And the more you focus on that, it makes you worth more and just adds value to yourself, because we're all very valuable. A silver is worth just as much as a diamond, but it's all that learning you do along the way that just makes you better and better. And the price tag we give ourselves is the price tag the world then gives us to us. So just having that positive belief and thinking big about yourself too, so that in turn that the world will think about big about you as well. That if you think oh, I'm only a silver, I can't do this, I can't do that, then you're going to be forever stuck. But if you repeat and do your positive affirmations and over say, I am a diamond, I'm a diamond, that eventually those things will come true.
Hi. Technical difficulties averted. I'm so sorry about that. Great job getting us started, Melissa. I love all of those tips, and definitely I loved the tip where he said to determine your five chief assets. So really thinking about ourselves. And I think that sometimes we really don't do that enough. And it's not in a braggy way or anything like that, but just to really help build our confidence. So determining our five chief assets and then writing down 3 people that we really view as successful, but may not be as strong in those assets that we are strong in. And that's just a great way to help us see that we can really use those assets to continue to build on our success as well. So I found that really a great tool. And I was starting to think of some stuff, but then I was so excited to write down other things. I didn't actually go through and write everything down, but I was thinking of a couple of things. Like I'm pretty talkative and outgoing, but believe it or not, there are situations where I'll walk into a new thing, a new place, a new venue, a new event, and kind of be like a little like overwhelmed for a second. And I do have to tell myself like, no, you've got this. Just talk to some people. It'll be okay, But I know a lot of people are like, she's never afraid to talk to people. But there are times where I get a little overwhelmed with new situations. But anyway, that is definitely a great tip, to write down those 5 chief assets and then thinking of 3 successful people. And I like how he said, I'm sorry, I was trying to hear my husband and you at the same time to fix the camera, and I couldn't hear both of you well enough. So if you said it, I'm sorry, but to know thyself does not mean to know thy negative self, because how quickly are we to say, well, I wish that I was more like that, or I wish I was better at a certain thing. So definitely those positive affirmations that I heard you say, and repeating to ourselves, like, no, I'm a diamond. Like, I am a diamond. So what are we doing to get there? And that's super awesome. So. Did you have something else?
I think the last thing I wrote down, there's so many good things in this chapter, but just on page 92, they talked about what causes quarrels and how sometimes we can really get stuck in the trivial things. Like, I always think of marriage, that, your husband leaves the toothpaste cap off or leaves his stuff all over, and you pick at those little things, when in big picture you should, kind of brush over that and focus on the overall positivity, how he really is trying to help clean the house and take care of the kids, and really focusing on those things instead, because then in turn more positivity comes into your life instead of complaining about the little things. And I love the reminder just to focus on, asking yourself, is this really important? Is it really important to complain about the awful traffic, when instead you can focus on all these other things and just continually having that positive mindset?
Yes, I love that. And this is probably a huge breakthrough for me, but I came down to the kitchen this morning and I'm like, I can smell my husband. Like, I could smell his cologne and stuff. And I was like, it smells really good in here. Why can I smell this? And I'm like, oh, because there's a pile of shirts on the back of the chair. And normally I'm like, I can't believe you left shirts on the back of the chair. Like, come on, how hard is it to put your shirt away? But I was like, oh, well, that's an advantage I have this morning, is that I get to enjoy remembering my husband all day, because every time I walk by there. And then he's talked too about using big, positive, cheerful words. So when someone is like, and I used to do this all of the time, like, how are you doing today? Oh, I'm good. I'm tired. Oh, I'm tired. Everything was, I'm tired. And, or, you have a cold. Well, I'm okay, but I have this cold. And the more you focus on it, the more that it just blows up into this bigger deal. And I noticed with our masks at work, because I always walk into a new patient's room or up to the nurses that I need to talk to, like, hi, how are you today? You know, I try to give a big smile, or like wait till they're done with their conversation, smile, hi, how are you? And with the masks on, I'm like, there's no point in smiling. But then I notice in myself that I'm like, you know, like there's no point in smiling. There's no point in having a good attitude. So now I see people walk by while I'm working at a computer or something, and I smile like, hi. And then I'm like, oh, I'm smiling under here. Like I'm telling people now, like I'm smiling under here. You just can't see it. And it's changed just like my demeanor and my attitude and all of these things about all of that. Even though no one can like see my smile. And I think that's really important to remember too. And using those positive language, encouraging, like with the kids, like, hey, Sammy, I know that you're really into this car right now and building and doing this right now. I love what you're doing. This is super huge. Looks really fun. And I can't wait to hear more about it. I need you to look at my eyes. Right now, we need to do this, but not just coming in, Sammy, let's go. We have to go. Just leave it alone. Don't worry about it, you know, but being encouraging and cheerful about everything that we possibly can be. And it's going to change our demeanor and our outlook on life, on kids. And definitely the picking your battles thing is so important. So, and that's good too with, you know, sometimes we have new people on our team and like maybe they write up a post and you might think, well, I don't know if I would have written it that way. And then I have like, okay, well, let me just think about it. Okay, you know, that it's okay. It's pretty good. You know, like I'm not, now if there's something that's blaring or non-compliant or really negative language in there, then I'm going to bring that to their attention. But if it's just something that I'm like, I'm not sure how I would say that, but that's okay. This isn't me, you know? And really just being encouraging. Great job posting. Good job posting and putting yourself out there, because that is super important. And that's a huge step for people. Some people just really have a hard time putting themselves out there on social media. So we want to celebrate those things too. And then he had all those tips, like using the positive words to outline plans. So we do this with our kids, I know, and it's a great thing to do with our new ambassadors that are frustrated with slow shipping or not being able to get a hold of customer service or something. I'm like, do you know how amazing this is? This means that they are busy helping so many people. We had 10,000 people join on the last day of June? Like, that's a huge deal. That is incredible. Like, that means you're joining something amazing and powerful, and that's working and helping people. Otherwise, they wouldn't have 10,000 joins on the same day, right? And so having that language around that can be so important, instead of like, oh, I know. And, you know, people are sort of complaining that their Plexus is taking longer, but so is Amazon. And so is everything else that I've ordered through this situation. It's that everything is just taking a long time. Kohl's is taking forever, you know, using that positive language. And I do that with the kids, like, oh, you know, it's raining. I need you to get out of the pool. Like, this isn't safe. It's thundering. Well, we want You know what? You've had all day. It's been such a great day. Look how many friends you've had over. Like, making this a celebration. And now our grass is getting watered. Guys, it won't be poking your feet when you walk on it. Like, you know, really framing that, having that positive around it is really important. And it's, I mean, I, in the past, was probably not all that positive about annoying situations, you know, and learning that has been really huge. So. All right, we should probably move on to chapter 5 really quick. I particularly love the creative thinking. I found for myself just that, you know, when I have a goal, like I almost need to do a mindless task while I'm thinking about how I'm going to do specific IPA tasks or something. Not so much the reaching out, following up, but okay, I need to help this person with this, and I need to help this person with this other thing. And so I'm thinking of those things, and it's almost like I need to go fold some laundry or do some dishes and just do something that I'm not don't have to think to do that because I'm getting something accomplished, and then my creative mind can work and I can come up with this like plan and idea on how to help people. So I've had that where I'm like sitting here, okay, I should do some work, but my mind is just kind of scattered and all over the place. And so taking a step back is really powerful sometimes, and getting that creative mind working. I really love the example where he said, well, can we eliminate jails? And everyone's like, no, of course not. That would be ridiculous. And And he's like, just try, work with me here, like work with me. And then people are like, well, we could put these systems in place. We could support youth. We could help with different shelters. We can do these other systems to prevent crime, to maybe eliminate jails. And that was like super cool to see that creative mind. That creative mind isn't necessarily like, look, I made an art project or I did a painting. The creative mind really pushes us into having a more productive mindset and a more productive problem solving opportunity to help our people. So that is super cool. And just even talking with people sometimes is really helpful. Like Melissa and I will talk at work, and she'll share with me something that she's kind of stuck in. I'm like, well, what about this? What if we said this? And she's like, oh, I didn't think about it like that. And sometimes just talking back and forth, or me asking more questions. Well, what about this? What about this? What about this? And now I'm asking her questions about the situation. Then she's like, well, I could probably say this or do this. I'm like, yeah, there you go. So that is really cool. I love that. And that creative mindset and creative dreaming into that creativity is really, really what helps us to accomplish things. So I know for my husband and I, we haven't really had any dreaming moments for a while. And now we're like, okay, we can dream about a kitchen. We can dream about our dream kitchen. We can dream about these things. And then it's like, okay, you come up with some plans. You know what I like? I got to get to work. Like I have things to do. And then we can talk about that again later. But it's been really fun, and it's inspiring to think, okay, what can we do with this opportunity that we have with Plexus, you know? So.
Yeah, in this chapter, I really liked how he talked about capacity as a state of mind. That really spoke to me, because in the 3 years I've been doing this, my life has totally changed. I went from no kids and, you know, semi-newly married to now I have 2 babies at home and have to work full time and have a business and do all the things and keep track of a house and all of that. And for the longest time, it's, I don't have time for that. I don't have the time for that. Like I have to do the laundry and the dishes and this and that. And like fitting in, even just reading a book and being part of book club and doing these extra things, we're like, oh, I'll leave that for, you know, last thing, and sometimes get to it. But they say, you know, if you need something done, ask a busy person, because it's so true. They learn how to fit things in the nooks and crannies. And when I started telling myself, oh, I have time for this, I can do all the things I need to do, and setting those priorities, that it's amazing, you know, how much more you can get done. Kind of like their example that the mom who never had time for work and then was forced to work, that now she suddenly could manage all of this. And yes, some of the, you know, craft projects I used to do and extras maybe don't get done, but I can do all the big important things that I really want done in life and can fit them in. And you just kind of learn and grow and figure out a system. But you have to have that positive mindset to figure it out and tell yourself you can do it. Otherwise, it's never going to happen. That you'll be forever just doing dishes and laundry all your life and not getting that personal growth and going beyond.
Yeah, absolutely. When I think back when I only had Ella, and I would have her in bed at like 7, and I would like bake and I would craft and I would watch Gilmore Girls. And I'm like, because Jason was gone a couple nights a week with church stuff. He always has been. So I had these evenings of just me doing what I wanted, making crafts, making hair bows, whatever. And I loved doing it. But I'm like, oh my gosh, if I would have had this back then, I could have retired a long time ago, you know, and felt better as a pregnant and nursing mother. I think it would have made a huge difference in how I felt. So it's pretty funny to think about all this time I wasted. But at the time, I didn't think it was a waste. And I remember I only have memories pop up from then on Facebook, and all I did was complain about how tired I was. Like, I totally needed some Plexus back then. And it's pretty funny that what actually becomes important and what becomes a problem solved. And that was me. That's me. I'm Mrs. S, like over here still working and trying to figure out a plan to phase out. But as a sapphire, I'm like, I really don't need to be working. You know, what are we going to do? We have to figure this out and have a plan. So it's been pretty amazing, but it is true that you truly can do way more than we think that we can. And things that are not as important, that used to be super important, maybe aren't. Like, I used to clean a lot more, you guys, but I'm like, well, whatever. The kids can clean the floor and the laundry can sit there a few extra days. Like, what has it impaired anyone in my house? No, absolutely not. I still like the floors clean. I still like my kitchen clean, and I like my bathrooms clean. And that stuff all pretty much gets done. But there's other stuff that I'm like, well, whatever. I could spend all day, every day, picking up after people and putting toys in their correct little bin all of the time. And I just don't do that anymore. I do it a few times a year instead of every day. So anyway, just pretty funny that we can shift to that creative thinking. All right. We should probably open it up in here. I know that Rochelle's going to have some stuff to say here.
Hey, well, we have a moment of quiet. I'll hop on. I love this book. It was probably one of the first book clubs I think I did, at least in the beginning. And it was super, super good because it's such a good book for really just getting you thinking. I was always really blessed. Like, my parents always told us to dream big and we could do whatever we wanted, and really, really poured that belief into us. But the more that I've gotten to know people in my profession as a nurse and just with talking to people, I realized that not everybody has that. And so this book is really, really good to help people see that you have potential. And he lists all of the reasons that people use as excuses for why they can't do things, or all of the things that are holding them back. So I super love this book. But one of the things that I really liked is when he talked about the creative thinking and believing it can be done. And you really can accomplish anything that you put your mind to. I remember back in nursing school, everyone said, you can't graduate nursing school with a 4.0. It's not possible. And it is possible. It takes work and dedication to do it. And it's really the same thing in our Plexus business. All of us can be diamonds. There's no special skill set. There's nothing that the diamonds in Plexus have differently than somebody who's a silver, other than that they have consistently put the work in, and they've probably been told no by people a few more times than we have. But I love that sorry, my battery's getting low here, but I love that, he lists all these different things don't let tradition paralyze your mind. Think outside of the box. And really, when you let yourself start thinking creatively, you start thinking of people to talk to. You start thinking, you don't let that fear of, oh my gosh, what are they going to say if I share the business opportunity with them, hold you back, because you wouldn't believe it. Doctors, nurses, lawyers, people that we would think would not be interested in network marketing are. Because yes, they make a great income, but they don't have time freedom. They don't have freedom with their families. They're tied to every third weekend, every other weekend, 12-hour days, holidays, whatever. So I just really liked that chapter where he talked about creative thinking and how when we just let ourselves think creatively, we also are a lot more bold and excited and reaching out to people too. So those were just a couple of my favorite takeaways.
Absolutely. It's pretty funny when you see some of these people just come out of the woodwork that are like, okay, I'm ready to do it. I want that time freedom. I want these things for my family too. And it's really fun at work talking, well, in general, talking to people. Mostly right now, all I do is go to work and I'm home, but talking with people, and you can see the small thinking and the well, I was going to go to college, but it was going to cost too much money. or it was going to take too much time, or like there's all these reasons why I didn't go after this goal. And even people that have their degrees are just like, well, whatever, I'm just happy. I'm happy working my shifts, but they're really not necessarily happy with that. They would like time freedom. They would like these things, but they just haven't decided to actually go after it. And even how many times have we heard, well, I've done a party before. I've done a Usborne book party before. I don't want to do a Plexus party. I'm like, well, Plexus is completely different than books, you know, and let me help you personally invite some people so that they're getting a personal invite instead of just added to a Facebook party. So that's super important too, to just really help people see that that dreaming big is for them. It doesn't even necessarily mean they have to do Plexus with us. Of course we want them to, but helping them see that they don't have to be stuck to the 9-to-5 grind, you know?
I love that that was brought up because I think for myself, people ask me if I'm going to go back to school. Oh, when your kids get in school, are you going to go back and finish your master's? Because when Adam and I got married, I ended up leaving my master's program and moving states away. And I'm like, no, actually, like I don't have any desire to do that because I'm part of this company that I can do more with. It creates this avenue is going to create far more opportunity than a master's in behavior analysis will do for me. Like, and I already have 120 grand in school debt. Like, I don't need more. I would rather work hard at something right now and make 120 grand and more in 1 year, you know? And so that is, I guess, like my perspective on it. And I have no problem telling people that now. I'm like, you know, at first I was like, do I be ashamed of this? Like, because it is out of the norm, you know, what we are doing is completely outside of the box of what people are told is normal and expected. And, you know, Adam, you know, my husband, he's in the military. And one of the reasons that he'll tell you he didn't go to college was because he was like, I don't want to pay for those student loans. Like, I don't want to do that. But now, like, he also was kind of questioned network marketing when I started it, but I'm like, you know what, this is no different than, well, it's better than sales actually, because what we're doing is sharing hope and health and happiness and all the things that can actually improve people's lives. And so I think that it's okay to break that norm, and it is okay to step outside the box and dream big for yourself and want more for your family, because when you have more, you can do more, and not just for yourself, but you can do more for other people. And it may take time, you know. I think, what is the average, like 4 years, maybe 5 years to hit diamond. But if you stick with a network marketing company for 10 years, you're going to make it to the top if you're actually doing the things to get there and you're coachable and you want to grow.
That was so good, Taylor. I was just like really, this book, I'm completely obsessed with this book. I wish I had it years ago, but well, after listening to what Debbie was just sharing about like nursing school and how people were, you know, like talking about grades and these like limiting beliefs, it really just got me thinking about, I just graduated nursing school, and it took me like years to finally apply because I always like just believed that I wasn't smart enough. And I just like I don't know, I would just like say that to myself, like, oh, I can't go to nursing school, I'm not smart enough, whatever. And I believed that. And then I don't know what really changed, but then I applied and I got like the best grades that I've ever gotten in nursing school. And it was not as intimidating as I thought. And where am I going with this? So yeah, I guess just well, yeah, so I was like focusing on being in nursing school, and I was like kind of sort of doing the Plexus thing. But now that I'm out of nursing school and I can actually like really focus a lot of my energy on doing this, I am finding myself dreaming so much bigger than I ever have before, and like really believing in the business more than I ever have. Like I was just talking to Erin McIntyre about it, and we're just like so hyped up about it because they're like the possibilities are endless. And I was at work today, and I like my job. Like my job is really fulfilling, but I was just like thinking, I was like, do I want to do this for like, I mean, with nursing, you can do a bunch of different jobs. So I was like, do I really want to like do this for the rest of my life? Like, heck no, I would definitely want to do Plexus for sure. So anyway, I guess I'm just glad that I'm reading this book because it's helping me dream really, really big.
It's so true. It's so true that people are like, wait, you're going to leave your nursing job or your whatever, you're not going to go back to school. I mean, people are asking me like, would you really not be a PT anymore? I'm like, no, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. You know, I'm like, well, I could work casual just because I could be around people, right? And I'm like, I don't know. It sounds annoying to work on a Wednesday. And I certainly don't want to work weekends. I've been doing that now for almost 13 years. Like, I would want to get away from working weekends. And if she needs extra help, when is she going to need help? Weekends, holidays, vacations. I want to be on my own weekend. I want to be on my own vacation. And I certainly don't want to work during the holidays. So it's pretty funny. But like nursing, there are lots of options with PT. So I could just teach like one class a year just because I could, right? I can still do the things that I have done and just do it very much on my terms. And that's very freeing and very amazing to think about. And this is what we need to keep, like people need to keep seeing these promotion posts. They need to see like Debbie's a nurse and just went Sapphire and has been home with her baby for months now. Like this is what people need to see because it's inspiring to them to think, well, how did she leave her nursing job? You know, when I leave my PT job, well, how did she leave her PT job? And that's what people really need to see is the promotion posts, and the compensation plan needs to be mentioned and put in the comments and needs to be referred to in the post because people need to see, hey, like this isn't $40 a month over here. This is big money. And one of my new girls her husband was like, well, is this real? Like he was super skeptical. So we're on the phone and I'm like, yeah, that's real. Like those numbers in the comp plan are absolutely real. I can attest to that. So definitely amazing and huge to show people. And they are both, she and her husband are both good careers, successful careers. And but they're seeing this idea of time and financial freedom through something like Plexus. So, well, through Plexus because they're on my team.
I had somebody.
Hello.
Go ahead, Erin.
Oh, you go first.
No, you go. You're fine.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. I was just going to say, I love on page 87 where they talked about like envisioning people as they can be, not as they are. And I think it just goes in line with like the vision casting so much. And I got a lot out of that. And then I was just thinking too about like your limiting beliefs and how it could be so easy to be like, oh, well, I don't have a team, or this person has this drama going on in this life, or this team member has this going on in this life. It'd be so easy to list off maybe like 10 problems in your team. And I was on this Ruby call the other day, and this was just a special thing that Plexus was doing for Rubies and senior Rubies. And there were some people on there that were just talking about how they lost like all of their team. Like this one girl went from Ruby to 35 points at convention last year. And now this month, she's going for Emerald. So she had to do like this full rebuild, and she realized like her limiting beliefs and not setting goals for what caused her to basically kind of lose points and lose team members and that sort of thing. But I was just thinking, man, like it's so easy when things aren't going well on your team to just be like, to kind of think of those person's problems and like use that as your excuse. But Ingrid Cooper was on that Ruby call and she was like, no, like I've lost my team too, but what I've learned is be your own rock star. Be your own rock star and think big, and your team will catch the vision and they're gonna run with you. And I think like seeing all you ladies just get promoted to Sapphire, I mean, holy crap, it's just so amazing. I know that that really motivates me, and I know Michaela was over this week and we were talking about like, holy crap, that was the most hype momentum chat we've ever seen in our whole lives. And it's just really cool to see like so many people in our lives just crushing goals and all of that. And I feel like I just went on this crazy tangent, but that's all I got. I love the part about seeing people not as they are, but what they can be, and really vision casting. And I think there's so many stories of people who maybe had that one teacher who believed in them or that one coach who believed in them. So kind of like think of your own team members too. And if there's somebody on your team that maybe you're afraid to talk to about the business opportunity or something like that, it might actually surprise you what vision casting can do. I actually have a team member who surprised me. She downloaded like the Plexus Engage app right when she started, and I was not seeing her as a business builder at all. And when I mentioned doing a health and happiness event for her, she said, oh no, maybe like when I'm 3 weeks in, because I haven't been on these products enough yet. And at first I go, oh yeah, okay, sounds great, makes sense. And then I listened to that call by Christina and Brittany this week about vision casting and like all the tips that they had with the sample messages and stuff. And I went back and I left her a voice chat and I said, you know what, I would not be a good sponsor if I didn't tell you about all the incredible promotions this month and about the chance for you to earn $405. Like, we really should get your health and happiness event up and running now. You really should start thinking of these people now. And I just boldly and confidently shared it with her again, because they talked about how those repeat exposures, even with the business, are so important. And she was like, oh my goodness, yes, like set me up, and we scheduled her event. So I guess I'm learning to be more confident with vision casting, especially with the business builder aspect of Plexus, because for a long time I was just like, oh yeah, I guess I don't attract business builders, but I also wasn't casting the vision for business builders, if that makes sense. So that's all I got.
I love that, Erin.
So good.
I don't know who else said that, but
It's okay.
I had the same thing happen where, you know, my points were going down and down and down and down, and I'm like, I don't know how to vision cast. I don't know how to do this. And well, first of all, just speaking positivity. And I think that so many people on this call need to hear this. Like, I was just talking to someone else about this earlier, but if you're looking for negativity, you're going to find negativity. If you're looking for positivity, you're going to find all things positive. Like, you know, and this is this book, and this is all of John Maxwell books. And, you know, whatever you're looking for is what you're going to find. And thinking to someone on this call, I won't name drop here, but I was vision casting with her for a while, and I'm like, and I got no, like, I don't have a big network. I don't know anyone. Oh, I'm just going to use the products for a while and see what they do for me. And I'm like, will you stop? Like, you just need to start sharing this, because by not sharing it, you're blocking someone else's blessing. Like, if Lauren just said, oh, you know what, Taylor's never gonna join me, I'm just gonna stop sharing because she's lollygagging around here for 11. It would still be miserable. I probably dairy allergy, like all of these other things that, you know. And so I just think that, like, we're all wonky and I don't have internet. That's the problem. Oh gosh, magic spot in my house. It's by the window. But can you guys hear me now? Erin, nod your head yes. Okay. But at some point, I just thought, you know what? What do I have? Can you hear me now? Oh my gosh. Oh, you can? Okay. This is going to be super bad on the recording. I'm sorry. But at some point, you just have to be bold and say, what do I have to lose with sharing this with someone else? Like, what do I have to lose about bringing up the business? You don't have anything to lose. I mean, don't self-sabotage, but be bold enough to share and think big for yourself and realize that whatever goals you set goals.
Meg, I think you had something.
Yeah. Hello. I made it on. So I love what you said, Taylor, about just having people in your court basically to encourage. This last week for me was not a good week. I had a conversation with someone close to me, and it was just super discouraging and super like just being buried about my business and everything. And so just to have, this team of people who love and care and, dream big, especially when, people drag you down, we need this team. The team itself is such an encouragement to me, especially on the days that are just so draining. And so I just want to thank all of you guys, because even just being on this this book club and on Monday night calls, like those are so encouraging and so important. I went out and got Audible because I was like, I don't have time to read this book. And so then I found out that the Audible is different than the book. And so I'm like, oh man, like if I shared tonight, maybe I'm like way ahead and don't realize it just because I'm in the Audible and I have no clue what chapter it's on. So I'm just going through the book. It's so good.
I think, well, I have the old book and I have the Audible that matches that. So I don't know. I guess it went okay, right? And the other thing too, when people say, I want to wait until my products get here and I get some results before I do a party, the truth, but in the same breath, they're saying, but I don't want to sell anything. And we have to remind them, like, if you're waiting for your results, then you truly are going to be selling at that point, because you're basing, I want you to try these products because it's helped me, and now you're selling. I tried this great restaurant and I want you to go there because I went there and it was delicious. You're basing that on a recommendation. You wouldn't probably, you would say, oh, I saw on Yelp that they had this and this for reviews, but I haven't been there yet. But these are the reviews and this is what people are saying and this is what their pictures look like. Nobody would have a problem doing that. And that's exactly what we're doing with Plexus, because the other thing is that, a couple of things. One, no one ever asks me my story. I actually had a girl, a new level 2. Well, Elizabeth, I want to hear your story. And I was like, oh, like I was kind of like, really? Like, are you sure? I haven't had that question in a while. But they did, like Christina Hanselman has said this, or Christina Williams. She said, and she has a great story, you guys. She's off 5 blood pressure medications. She is like, has an incredible testimony. Nobody asks her that. But the thing is if I heard that only her story about 5 blood pressure medications, I wouldn't be like, well, I need these products. I'm not on any blood pressure medications. I'm the one that gets dizzy all the time if I'm not careful because my blood pressure is low. So like, we have to share a variety of stories and help people see themselves in that. But when we wait for us to have our results, like I had pain, I had gut issues, I had candida issues, I had a horrible ductal yeast infection. Well, Tim, my husband's coworker, can't relate to any of that. None whatsoever. He actually is in amazing shape. I'm like, no, you will feel better and get better results with our products. Just give it a shot. Give me a couple months of using ours instead of buying your stuff at GNC. And he's like, oh, and his hang up for a long time was it's too expensive. And I'm like sharing with him, no, it's not, like, it's this much. So when I signed him up, he goes, oh, is that all it's going to be? I'm like, yes, this is what I've been saying. So really reminding people that when we are waiting for our results, then we are truly selling, and that you never know what we can offer. We never know who has migraines or who had burning feet when they went to bed and hated getting up in the morning to walk to the bathroom. That was me. Like, we don't know what people are suffering with. And, you know, you never know if this is the key to help them feel better. And so we don't, like Taylor said, we don't want to withhold that from people. We have a gift and we need to share.
Yes, I love that this book can not only help us think big, but can then turn around and share with, you know, our people and potentials about how they can think big too, about those health issues, that it crosses so many things, but just believing that they can have better health and they can give things a shot, and, you know, something will work for them and feel better. How many people, you know, get nervous that, oh, I can't do this, I can't get to do this. I have a new level 1 that has a ton of anxiety and just doesn't have the belief in herself, and so it then trickles down that, oh, this isn't going to work for me. But as we, you know, I share all this big thinking and let's just be positive and take it one step at a time and look at the big picture, that then she turned around and, you know, is, oh, you know, I am worth this, I can do this, I can give it a shot, and helping her see the bigger picture versus trying to survive one little day at a time and focusing on, well, I felt bad at this point in lunchtime, and so obviously nothing's working and, you know, everything's awful. But then passing on this magic of thinking big, you know, can not only change us, but also can change those people that we're talking to and casting the vision, you know, that way for them too, and just having that big positive thinking in their life.
For sure. We talked a lot, you guys. Anybody else have something to share? All right. I'm going to stop the recording. Thanks for hopping on, you guys.